Trump apparently plans to introduce his budget today to the Congress. And it is kind of insane, both the cuts he wants to make and the things that he's not cutting at all. In fact, jacking up the spending on. And so prepare yourself for this. The top line thing that I think you should be concerned about is that it aims to reduce discretionary non-defense spending. So that's what the government does that doesn't have to do with defense and is not Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. He wants to cut that by $163 billion from this year. That effectively amounts to a 22.6% cut from one year to the next. A fifth of much of what the government does gone, out the door. Good luck bringing it back when you finally get MAGA out of the White House. That's what he wants to do. And so that is what he wants to cut. He wants to increase funding for border security and also defense. He says for air and rail safety as well as veterans and law enforcement. So I will need to see evidence that the vets actually get anything out of this. But the idea that he's going to take all this money that goes to these programs that keep you safe and all of that and just throw endless more money at the military and cops, I buy that. I don't have a problem with that at all, or accepting it at least. We had reported earlier this week that the military budget, for the first time, not the effective military budget with all the extra spending and everything, that remains to be seen. But the declared military budget is going to be over $1 trillion for just 1 year. And so 150 billion extra dollars being thrown into this. Hundreds, maybe thousands of programs that benefit and protect you and your family. Some in ways that you see, others in ways that you'll never know, but they have an effect on your life, on your business, on your friends, on your community, will be gone. And we're gonna throw a couple more national military budgets on top of the biggest military budget the world has ever known. And so we'll turn to some of the more of the cuts in a sec, but Brett, those are like the top line figures. We're gonna be spending a lot more while cutting a lot more at the same time.
But that's the thing, is like everybody wants to most people on the right want to shrink the size of the government, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's increasing the size of the government. And they're like, I don't like the government because it's always up in my business and I'm scared. I'm scared of what the government's gonna do. If it gets too powerful, it might kill me. He's cutting everything but the defense budget. And simultaneously saying he wants to unleash soldiers inside America. This weird self-choke sex vibe you guys have with Donald Trump is so rife with hypocrisy and self-harm. But then again, it seems like their priority is to feel like they're smarter and better, but not actually have any smarter or better plans.
Yeah, just say it. Just say that you are, and they want to believe that. A lot of this is motivated reasoning. That's the issue, I think.
Right? They're like, I want him to hurt me. That's literally their vibe right now. Their argument is, before they're like, oh, I don't like that the economy hurts under Biden, and Trump's gonna make eggs $4 instead of $9. Great, or $2, who knows? And then immediately Trump shows up and is like, this is gonna hurt, and they're like, good. Good, this is gonna hurt.
Well, Brett,
Daddy Trump.
That's kind of how they communicated about it in the waning. That was what Tucker Carlson literally said to a crowd, and they were like, yeah, I want Daddy to come and discipline me. They were very clear. I thought it was weird, apparently not weird enough.
So strange.
So let's talk about a little bit of what is going to be removed from government to pay for, Golden Dome or whatever. So let's see, deep cuts to the EPA. Doesn't matter, what were they doing anyway? The Energy Department, the Interior Department, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Education Department, the National Institutes of Health, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, among others. That's a lot, and it's hard to think of that as one. I would describe that as the government. So the government's being cut, it's just gone, no more government. Some specific cuts, eliminating a federal program that provides grants to nonprofits that help people who face housing discrimination, defunding the National Endowment for Democracy, cutting what it calls wasteful and woke FEMA grant programs. You know FEMA with their food and their tents, so woke. Eliminating a grant program for preschool development that they say pushes DEI to 3-year-olds or something. Let's see, cutting $5 billion from the National Science Foundation, canceling $15 billion in funding in the infrastructure law for renewable energy technology. Again, this is just Biden did it, so let's get rid of it. It'll make us stronger, it'll make us more competitive, it'll make us safer, it'll make America healthy again. But the old guy did it, so screw that, we're getting rid of it. Cutting more billions from the Energy Department's renewable energy program, cutting money from renewable energy programs at the Interior Department, and eliminating grants to NOAA, which forecasts weather and monitors oceanic and atmospheric conditions, among other things, which is important not only for like daily weather broadcasts, but also for knowing when devastating hurricanes are gonna hit, which are gonna be even more devastating because we're giving up on even like the facade of trying to stop climate change. So all of this makes you less safe, but don't worry, military contractors are gonna make out like bandits.
Yeah,
Any
like
thoughts, Brett?
China's beating us in the Republicans' framework because they do the opposite of this. They invest in all these things. They invest in new energies, and then they invest in building out infrastructure. They invest domestically in things, and they do that with and with an eye toward the future. In cutting, like the way that things get innovated in America, I would love to say that it's by people who have these businesses and they come up and they're inventors and tinkers, and that happens a lot. But the vast majority of our major technological advances were made possible much by a grant from the federal government. Now that doesn't really, I don't like that private public partnership where they give money away to billionaires who then lose it and do the audits and all that stuff. And you might be thinking they're cutting down on that kind of waste in the domestic arena, but they are giving bigger blanker checks to defense contractors, expanding that budget. And those guys, A, never passed the audits that exist, and B, never faced an audit from the Doge team that was supposed to get rid of all this waste. And everybody knows, it's in the movie Independence Day, like, oh, you don't think they're spending $1,000 on a hammer? $500 on a toilet seat.
We actually referenced that earlier this week.
Amazing. That's exact, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You can't, again, this is not about fiscal discipline. This is about a transfer of wealth. This is about taking it away from things that benefit you and your family and just giving it to well, I would say the people they like, but them. It's giving it to them. It's giving it to Elon Musk.
Right.
That's all any of this is. And at the same time, they're gonna massively cut the taxes of those exact same people. So this is not like, I feel so bad for the conservatives that are like, yeah, I think there's waste in government, and I'm glad someone's finally dealing with it.
Right.
There's nothing like that happening.
What's more likely? That a billionaire is acting unlike a billionaire, or that a billionaire is acting like a billionaire and just fooling you?
Now that is a great question, but what if you had grown up with decades of propaganda teaching you that billionaires are the best people in the world? Yeah, they are literally better than you in every way. You should bow down to people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump. That's unfortunately that's why we're in the position that we're in, I think.